Today is a special one because we're about to learn about entrepreneurship from a friend of ours, a sister of ours, all the way from the UK, Ugandan. Ne was struggling amuko.
Oh yeah, but we agreed I'm interviewing you.
That's
so
not gonna
I'm
work.
going to
I asked you a question of like, were you poor? You're like, no, I was not poor. We were just less privileged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I was being raised, we were actually privileged, but then that took a turn at some point, and then we were not very privileged. I think when we talk of aggression in life, it's not. It's all I know. It's not an accident. It has to be intentional. Like you remember, I told you that to be rich, you have to be intentional. It's very, very rare for people to be rich without being intentional, unless you've inherited, dollars and dollars or pounds and pounds of money, or even shillings or whatever, unless you've inherited it.
Right.
And then you have to fall into it. But otherwise, if you have to make it, like I did, you have to be intentional about it. So
there's a part where you say, we might not go into the business that you and your mom were doing, but there's something that happened
yeah,
when you were working for your mother.
yeah. My mom changed the business from earning more to earning less, or even equivalent, but I didn't like it. And from that moment, I thought, I want to be better. I tell my kids, I say, you have to be better than me. You've met my child, you've met one of my daughters who is the manager to our companies. I always make sure and to push her, to say to her, you have to be better than me. To put it in a nutshell, it's not just even the aggression or whatever you want to call it, or having money, how you want to say it, has to be intentional. It's as simple as. Just that. That's the starting point.
We'll jump into intent like a couple of minutes ahead. Speaking of your daughter, has she been a drive of much more working hard? Because most people, like when you're still living a single life, or no partners, or you're still just dating, but then you have a child and the whole
She becomes your driving
perspective.
force.
Yes.
I won't say yes and I won't say no. Even when I had my daughter, I was always thinking, I don't want her to lack. I don't want none of them to lack. I want them to have a better life than I've had. For example, in England, being a foreigner, I always worked, but I never had the mind that my children should do the same as I've done, should work from the ground that I've done. Because I feel like I've paid the price, and that price I've paid should be enough for me and the generation that is behind me. And yes, it was. Because now, sometimes when I'm fighting with her, she says to me, but me, this is all I know. So sometimes I have to accept that her hunger is not the same as mine, because my hunger, there was a hole.
One of the politicians in Kenya, they were saying about these things of being born in a poor background or less privileged background stops at 30.
At 30, you can't keep blaming others. You own your story and take responsibility for your action and inaction, so that you are the background. My dad says he's the father to Mutua. To introduce himself, that gives me a lot of fulfillment. It's more than money can buy. I decided that I cannot refer to my background in terms of why I'm not succeeding in life. And it's not because it was easy. What I'm saying is we need to change the mentality so that we are positive about life, that we know that no matter where you come from or who you are, no matter the challenges you have gone through, you can write your own story. And at around 30, in an ideal Kenyan situation or African situation, you are old enough to stop blaming anybody for your challenges. Own your story, get out there, roll your sleeves, and build your own life.
You have to change that narrative, yes.
Because I even tell all my nieces and nephews, in your 20s, that's when you have to kill it. You have to do everything you can to haggle and make sure that you make it, because when you enter 30, chemical imbalancing, your chemical imbalancing is different. Your hormones are different. Then when you enter 40, your hormones are more different. Every decade you pass, when you're 10, it's different. When you're 20, your body and your mind is different. When you get at 30, everything is different. But I still go back to, do you want to make it? Do you want to make it? If you want to make it, how are you pursuing to make it? It's just that simple.
Right.
Even when I was in Uganda, before I left, I was above, above average, a little bit of above average. I knew that I cannot be poor. I've never wanted. I knew I cannot be poor. Let me put it that way.
And so some girl was joking about they were playing a game and they're like, okay guys, so let's say we go back to 30 years or 20 years, depending on how old you are, where you were a child, and they go like, so I would like to go back when I was a child, when everything was being given to me by my parents. Then the other one was saying, for me, I don't want to go back to childhood. We were so poor, I don't want that life again.
Exactly. Okay. My first business, I was at 20. Speaking of which, now when you're talking, it just dotted into my head. I was at 20 when I opened up my first business. So I don't want people to think that you have to go abroad to have to be rich.
Greener pastures.
No. But I'm saying that whatever the opportunities that are in your, in your surroundings, you can make the most of it. So it's a question of people need to ask themselves, what are the opportunities that are available to me? The opportunities, they don't come just in terms of money. People think that it's just the money, the paper money. No, the people around you, capital,
network,
capital, cash.
social capital.
Yeah, so, the people who are around you, how are you not going to make use of them? You don't have to manipulate them. You don't just be nice. I can't say that I'm a horrible human being, and I can't say I'm a perfect human being. I'm averagely nice.
You just don't take nonsense. Like I've known you for like a week.
When you're 40, the best really that you still have, in yourself that you can be sure of is 15 years. It puts you at 55. People die at 40, people die at 50, people die at 60. But why am I saying 55? 55, somebody is still young, is still kicking rocks, somebody is still, giving birth. Some women, who are blessed. Some men are just starting just to actually live at 55. So when you're 40, you have 15 years. So if you haven't made it, so you're looking at another 5 years. Another 5 years to put you in 45, so that at least you can enjoy just a little bit before your bones give away. So for me, even when I was having my first daughter, intentionally I was like, I want my kids while I'm, before I'm 30, I want both my children, and I want to be a young mom, have a beautiful time with my children. And to be honest, when I look at my life, there's no accidents.
So apart from when
Yes, I wanted to be a mom young. From 20 to 30, I wanted to have my 2 kids. I wanted to have money, and I wanted from 30 to just be kicking rocks. It delayed a little bit, in my 30s, I started having all this money, and I'm kicking rocks. I don't want
Meanwhile,
to be
I forgot to tell you guys that she's a millionaire in pounds.
Sure.
The strongest currency in the world. This lady right here. That's why I'm telling you, it's a privilege to have her on the podcast today. She doesn't even do podcasts and all that.
Go there.
You understand? Because I've seen you interact with your child, all good vibes, and I think many women would have wanted that, to have their kids young and grow up with their children.
Yeah.
But some of them, because of their financial
aspects,
not being right, they're like, let me wait. I don't think I can do it right now.
Most of us now, as Uganda stands, there's this statement people say, "Ndikana kambata." Is that correct?
Struggled, yeah.
Yeah, ndikana kambata.
That's the people who are struggling. Like I went through the dirt to get where I am.
So for me, the way I understand it, ndikana kambata means that, in me, the way I understand it is like you have to hustle to survive, right? Okay. So all of us, the majority, because if you're going to look at the population of Uganda and you look, the rich are rich, proper rich. The poor are proper poor. So There is no way you can tell that you'll be rich at this time, you'll be rich at this time. Most people, before they rent, before they build houses, they rent. Rent now is renting place is no longer now an issue of like for the poor. Even the rich, some of the rich of this certain level, they are renting. So renting is not something that one can look down on. So you can't say, when I build a house, I will have my children. When I have a place, no. Your house where you're renting is your house.
Start there.
Start there. And you know, sometimes these kids bring you luck. I think my daughter brought me luck, my youngest. I genuinely think so.
Elaborate more on that.
I was determined. I had this stupid notion in England, you don't take a child to work. But when I was pregnant, I was like, I'm not putting up my child for adoption. I will have my kid. I will, even if I have to go and put her on my back and clean or do whatever I have to do. Do you understand? So I was like, she must have a beautiful life. Sometimes when I'm fighting with her, I say, you're just lazy because you have a beautiful life. And she says, but that's all I know. And like I said before, but sometimes a child puts things in perspective for you, just like the age.
Yeah, I know Baganda used that a lot. Buli mwana ajja
n'omukisa gwe, but also buli mwana akufocusinga lulwe. Because how long will you just make excuses? You have a mouth to feed. You must feed that mouth. So it forces you to think. During the process of thinking, maybe you think wise, maybe you think something, you think a gold idea.
Right.
So I don't agree with people saying that I'm pursuing my career, Where there's a will, there's a way. Abana tebakyali expensive kiri awo. Obalamu nti mu myaka ebiri omwana wagenda ogenda mu somero.
Comes from you being a billionaire.
No. Listen.
Tell that to a Ugandan person like...
I had my daughter in England, and England is, my last, is the one of the absolute hardest place to bring up a child. You've met my kid. You can't even think that she was grown in England, would you?
No.
The way she acts, the way she is.
I think that's also one of the things that parents take time, because also I would try to tie that to your, for lack of a better word, let me say, from your less privileged upbringing.
Yes.
Your humbleness, and you wanted your child to go to experience. No, you instilled.
Yeah, you've seen us work. I think being rich is easy, but being poor is harder.
Elaborate more on that.
It's like you're living day by day. In winter, people don't want to work. In England, people don't want to work in winter. So they call in sick, people make all sorts of excuses. Me in winter, I would be out killing it. And I remember one time I was driving on a roundabout and my car swerved into a roundabout, and I was crying. And then when I came out of it, I was driving crying because I was missing my daughter. And I thought to myself, I'm living my own life, but it's like I'm a guest in my own life. Like I was just living day by day. Just day by day. You don't know when you're going to make a mess and the government say you're not a good mom, or you're going to make a mess and they say, we might not want you in this country. Like I felt like I was guessing.
Living on your toes.
Yes. But sometimes having less, when you have a good social network, support network, is a good thing.
Talk to us about some of the things or jobs that foreigners can do in a land like the UK.
Okay.
When they first get there.
Our time, I've been in England over 20 years now. So you understand that I grew up there, I studied there. But when we went during that time, we had jobs. Jobs were available. But the jobs which were available, you hear people say, oh, you have to look after the old people, you have to clean. That is a fact. That is a goddamn fact. Nobody should lie to you. Unless somebody goes, not everybody who goes have to look after old people. Not everybody who goes have to clean. Let me clarify that. No. Some people, they go, they are accountants. There are some people, they go, They are, I don't know, some professionals. But the number 1 out of 10, you find that those are 2 or 3 because they would have gone with a company, or they left here, they studied from there, privileged with that company, and then they transition
Right.
to that.
Right.
But most of us, when you go, your degree doesn't matter much. You first need to figure yourself out and then go back and do another degree or do something. So me, I worked in homes. My second job was I cleaned. I used to do 2 jobs. Me, I was always on the run. I was always doing 2 jobs. No. I wanted to.
Because you know why you went there. You know the purpose.
You do not understand. I'm not even kidding you. I'm not even joking.
Yeah.
I wanted to get this money very fast, very now. Not tomorrow.
Yeah.
Now. So I remember my first job. I got this home, and they gave me a trouser. I was such a young girl, remember? And the trouser was wearing me. I remember going to work crying. I would cry all the way to work, and then when I reach at the door, I stop. When I'm about to get to work, I stop. I used to cry. I used to feel like I was so lost. So I would cry and cry and cry and cry. And then a few months in...
The tears motivated you. The pain in the jobs, harsh weather.
Partly racism motivated me. Yeah. Now racism is not as much. It's there, but it's not as bad as it was.
There's been a lot of
now it's more
intermarriages.
institutional. Then it was like in your face. I'm in your face. I can see you. You're black and I'm white. Or you're black and I'm better than you. But now it's much better. It's much better. The laws are better. There's so much. I can honestly, vividly say England is one of the countries that I think that is better than most. I don't know about other
when
countries.
When it comes to racism, or
yes, to racism,
it's like it's minimal.
It's minimal. It's minimal, and on top of it being minimal, the British government, they do the best they can to try and address the things. It's not clear. It's not better. It's not like yes, it's everything is But
they're trying.
They're trying. At least you can walk, yourself. I don't live in London because London, I can't speak for London people. You hear so many instances that are really like very, very, very dicey. So racism pushed me. Yeah. I remember my first job, I had this girl, she was called Rachel. Rachel tortured the head. That's why I was crying every time I would be going to work. And by then I hadn't learned the language properly. They would speak, and in my head I would register. They would say 10 things, and I'd register like 2, and I would forge the rest. Now you can imagine. I hustled. Jesus! I hustled. I would just in my head. I'm like, be attentive. So I would be attentive. So they would say 10 things, and I'll catch 2. The 8 I would just forge. Just by mere look. There's something my ex-boyfriend told me, though, that was very, very, very useful. On the train, when I came out of the flight, on the plane like this, and then I went on the train and we're going, and he said to me, Judith, here they don't ask questions. You just read. Everything is marked. Everything is mapped. You go here, you go there. Otherwise, you're going to ask people, and they're going to send you in the wrong places. And that's true. They actually can lie to you. Sometimes they will say to you, I don't know. Sometimes somebody can say to you, it's there, when actually it's the other side. It's not even a joke.
Because everything is mapped.
Yes. So he said to me, you must use your eyes. And I took that literally. And that advice really helped me. So learning is not about what they tell you.
Shout out to the ex. Maybe not.
Yeah, actually, I should give him credit. Bless the boy. I should be a mean. Yeah.
The best ways to multiply your hard-earned money you've collected over the years in every job is to multiply it.
Yes.
And in Uganda,
yeah,
for a person who has made quite some money overseas, so it's good to invest back at home.
Yes.
Why is that important for investments back at home when you're now a resident
in
and
England?
a citizen of England? Yeah.
God, I love Uganda though. Like, for the time even just before you interacted with me, you've seen me once or twice, and that's in Uganda. So I'm here almost every month. I go and I say, I'm not coming back, and then I find myself next month I'm here. And I got, I'm like, I'm not, like now I'm like, I'm not coming back December, but then I'm thinking, I might just be home, and I'm like, yeah, Christmas home. Francis, let's go. We'll be here. So, but to be honest, I'll tell you this, I love this country. My investment, I don't want to invest in Uganda as fast as I was, at the speed I was investing at, because I had a few challenges with humans. Ooh, mate.
Yeah, we've had those
I've
stories.
had my fair shares. I've lost so much money within less than a year. Just from last year, around about May to now, I've lost 2 billions in people and up and down movements.
It's painful.
Yeah, yeah, but not too painful. It's life.
It could be painful from a perspective of like not the actual money, but the
people.
Let's say the relatives or whatever. Because I've seen
None of them was my relative, thank God.
Oh, okay.
I have this perspective in life that as long as I'm involved in that decision, so when the thing goes bad, I don't sit and have the 100% blame on the other person, because normally what I normally do is I take a step back and I think, what could I have done better myself? So for me, it's more of my self-reflection of what could I have done better, what could I have sorted out to not be in that position. So that for me, it's a learning curve that I've learned a big lesson. But it's a good learning curve for me that it has made me to two things. One, I now take a step back. Now, if there's an investment here, the other aspect is I refocus my energy back to England, because the money there multiplies not quickly, but safely. And you can see it. You can see where you're putting your money. In Uganda, everything is fast, but also the loss can be very huge and very fast. So I don't bear grudges in Uganda now, but I bear lessons. I bear lessons to myself.
Speaking of, before we get into it, because you're about to get on the plane, I understand. This is Hala's Day in Uganda. She's about to get on the plane. But there's something, when we were starting the interview, I was talking to you about, like, I met somebody and they were telling me about every time I meet anybody influential, I should have 7 intentional questions to ask them. So for a person like you who is into business and all of investments, I would like for you to guide me and the world maybe how do we best these intentional 7 key questions to every important person we meet?
It depends the field they're in, it depends who they are, and it depends what you want from them. For example, if you ask me, this is intentional talking to you, but I don't know my intention talking to you if you ask me, honestly.
Yeah. No, because I pushed you into it.
Yeah, you pushed me into it, yes. But
my intent for me was to gather the jewels from a famous and well-established business entrepreneur.
So that's the starting point.
Lessons.
What do you want?
Of getting there.
Yeah. Okay, let me give you an example. One of the business I have now in Uganda, I just changed the model recently. Our young people will come, they'll pitch their business. I'll take a step back, I'll listen, I'll think, I'll assess if the business is good, I'll give you the money. I'll give you the money and I want you to go and work. The thing is, how far can one run with the first opportunity? Because before you go to pitch and take somebody's money, you must have researched what you want to do. So it's the same thing with you. You say, what are the 7 aspects that you want from the person? Or you must, what do you want? What do you want to do with it?
You have to let that be known from get-go.
Yes. What do you want?
I think it's like relationships, right?
Yes.
I shout out to my person that never gave me a chance, because they asked me one really important question that I couldn't answer. She asked me, very nice girl, very beautiful, very intelligent. But she asked me one question I couldn't give an answer to,
What's that?
and that couldn't work.
What did
She was
you ask
like, "What is your intention with me?"
you? Eesh. And you didn't know? Thank you for not giving him a chance. Shout out to you, whoever
Yeah.
it is. Why
I
would
just
somebody
I
stay
just
with
froze
you?
because there's these human beings you meet, and is that what I don't want to use? Because there's a way you interpret it. I don't like the way you interpret it.
And you fall in love with them?
No.
And you like them?
We were just vibing. I know you don't like the word vibing.
It's vibing business
So
again.
she goes, "No, I'm at the age where I'm not about that life."
I like women like that. I like women like that who know what they
She
want.
was intentional with what, like, don't waste my time. Go do you. But I think I'm getting there. So she gave me an opening of, when you figure it out,
Come back.
if time gets you and I'm still available,
I like that.
I would
God,
like
that's
to.
my bitch. I
Yeah.
like that girl.
I would like
Those are
to
people I
revisit
like.
that.
Those are people who know in life what they want. Those are people who have known themselves and they are at a point where they don't give a damn, but they want to give a damn when you're giving a damn. And that's a very beautiful thing. Shout out to that woman. That's my woman.
Yeah, it was, to me, it challenged me.
No,
I was
but
like,
but did
okay.
you simple? I want to be with you. That was even a starting
Yeah,
point.
no. I gave her all that information. I want to be with you. I like your intellect, blah, blah, blah.
She didn't ask you what you like about her.
then
She says what you want with her.
Yeah, and then she goes, "Okay,
But what do you want with me?
people have told me that. You're beautiful. People have told me that." I'm like, okay. So yeah, where is this leading to? We can't just be,
Vibing.
coming to your place, coming to my place. Like, what's the end goal? I'm not that girl anymore. Not that she's old. She's like 32, but her intellect is like on another level.
But that's good. Since you know, you can't be leaving it hanging. This is the thing about people. When they like somebody, they love somebody, they try to go around it. Just go. Say, I want you. I like you. Shall we go? Shall we not go?
Now that I know the purpose, the intent.
Yeah. What's the worst can do? They knock you back. Then you get back in your seat. That's it.
Yo, I like how we went from entrepreneurship, life, we're down to relationships right now. But all that is intertwined with the key factor which we're talking about, which is intent. Could be in life, could be in relationship, could be in business, could be in the friends you make.
Yeah.
Because at a certain point where maybe when you hit a certain age, you don't just get friends just for friends.
No.
But what are
No.
those friends for?
Yeah, because if you get to be honest, that's one aspect I'm very weak at. I don't vet humans. That's my biggest weakness. And that's my biggest weakness. My family is fighting with me, and my friends and people are close to me that are fighting me over my non-vetting of humans. I tend to think, look, somebody would disappoint me by themselves, so I
Right.
give them a chance.
Right.
So the moment somebody is talking to me nicely, I'm talking to them back nicely. I'm fine. They're my friends. We're my friends. We're friends. We can drink. I'm not bothered. I really am not bothered.
Right.
I'm not one of those people who have to be on a high horse and have a certain type of friends. I have the lows, I have the highs, I have the richest friends, I have the lowest friends, I have all sorts of friends. I love that, but that's something that people are fighting me over. And I'm like, look, it's life. But only that now I've learned a little bit to be like, hang on a minute, just a bit. Or I'll vibe with you, but I'll make sure that my daughter is around, or my because she has a better sense of instinct than me.
Oh, speaking of that, I'd actually forgotten that particular thing. It's about the frequency of when you have somebody, like when people have dogs,
Yeah.
like maybe a pit bull, maybe you have a Rottweiler,
Yeah.
and they'll just sense that in you.
Yeah.
And somebody can't just associate with you because they're
Yeah.
like,
If my daughter looks at you a certain way, I will extinguish. I will just like,
Yeah.
I will exit.
that's really important.
I don't care what you're giving me, I will exit.
Because they catch that energy.
She's so good. She will not say you're bad or what,
Yeah.
but she will resist you.
That's a sign.
And she'll be polite and everything, but she'll resist you. Then I'll exit.
Wow.
But sometimes she gets it wrong, just
Yeah.
like me.
Just like any other human being.
Yeah.
Last one.
Yeah.
What is your mantra in life? What drives you? Those important words that I've given you.
What drives me?
Mm.
I live a fabulous life and I must maintain it without stress. I have certain rules in my life. I'll tell you this. 1, I don't live in debt. I don't want to be in debt. 2, I don't live above my means. Never accept to live above your means. I hate to live above my means because that will choke me and I cannot do that. So I live a fabulous life.
Doesn't come cheap.
This is where I live. You imagine. I live a fabulous life, but because I live a fabulous life, it is key for me to never ever live less than I'm living now. But in fact, I want to live better than I'm living now. So for me, that's why I told you I'm still hungry. Because I'm nowhere anyone who can say that they have money in terms of when you talk about money.
Thank you so much for your time. I know you don't even do these things, but I'm just lucky enough to be in having social capital. Social capital how? Like I was at the right place, right time, and I know the right people that know you, and the right people talk to you to be able to make this happen.
I know.
Yeah. Peace. Going on.